Legend is really the only word that applies for Diana Taurasi. I mean, there's no other way to put it. You could certainly call her the GOAT, has an argument as the greatest of all time in women's basketball, but a absolutely legendary career has come to an end, as she told Sean Gregory of Time magazine that she just didn't have it in her anymore to continue. That's after 20 seasons in the WNBA. Obviously played at UConn before that. Obviously many Olympics in the midst of it. I mean, you're talking about the all-time leading scorer in WNBA history. You're talking about someone who won multiple championships at every level, any accolade you can have, it's on her resume, plural. And really the influence. I mean, you can see her in old pictures with Gino Auriemma before he had gray hair, and you could see her now embracing Caitlin Clark in this huge, explosive moment for women's basketball this season. And she's been there for that entire journey. Always competitive to the core and always with an entertaining, flashy style as well. So you just got to give it up for Diana Taurasi and salute her for the career that she did have that, can never be replicated or duplicated and will always be known as legendary. I referenced those pictures I was just talking about, but this is what I mean. Her with Gino Auriemma way back then, way back when, however you want to say it. And then you've got Diana Taurasi and Caitlin Clark just from this season right there, this last season, in one of the standout moments from the WNBA season. And that's, encompasses the journey, the length of time that she was in the league. And when I go back and I remember, if anyone were ever to ask me who was my favorite women's baller in the past, I used to say DT Taurasi, because there was something about the way she played, her style, her flair, her attitude, I guess is how I would put it, her attitude on the court. And when it comes to the accolades, again, I mean, what are you going to say? The resume is a scroll. It's basically endless, and everybody can put those into different words and different ways and say different things about it. But that's it. By the way, I said the word legend. That's the exact word that Caitlin Clark used on her Instagram story in saluting Diana Taurasi. As you can see right there, you also had Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, putting out a statement about Taurasi's career. Here's what that said. Diana Taurasi is one of the greatest competitors to ever play the game of basketball on any stage, in a record-setting career that saw her play 20 seasons, score more points, and make more three-point shots than any player in WNBA history. She has earned the unquestioned respect of players around the globe, delivered electrifying moments, and captivated fans again and again. On behalf of the WNBA family, I thank Diana for everything she has brought to the WNBA. Her passion, her charisma, and most of all, her relentless dedication to the game. She leaves a lasting legacy, and the future of the WNBA is in a great position because of her impact. That will be felt for generations to come, which is correct, right? Like when we talk about the pioneers of the game, and that was something that was brought up in a lot of conversations this year, Exhibit A is Diana Taurasi. So you don't want it to, be boiled down to her reality is coming comment for a bunch of newbies, because she, had the gravitas to make that comment in the first place. And it's why her embracing Clark when she did meant as much as it did, because she was the authority. She was, the almost, the residing royalty of the league. And then I talk about the accomplishments, but this is a post from Rachel Galligan that sums them up. 6-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-time WNBA champion, WNBA MVP, 11-time All-Star, 10-time WNBA first team, 6-time EuroLeague champion, 3-time NCAA champion, first player in league history, 10,000 points, and the all-time leading scorer in league history. And I get it. She had that Olympic tour. You could almost call it a farewell tour now. And people argued about her place on that roster, but that was a, career spot. That was a legacy spot. And it's not a shocking announcement. It's not like I'm caught off guard. It was kind of expected, especially given the other moves that happened with the Mercury and the transition that happened with the Mercury and Brittany Griner now being with the Dream, and the turnover that roster saw with Alyssa Thomas coming in and Satu Sabali and the other moves that they made. It was expected, and I had seen that Taurasi was going to be a guest on The View, so I was even more prepared for this to be the news and for that news to break in short order. But it is, of course, still worth recognizing everything that she did and everything she was able to accomplish over her career and the influence that she did legitimately have on the sport and the game. Because if you are talking about somebody that helped grow the game and whose name was known, and she was coming from that UConn legendary pedigree. UConn women's basketball was the biggest thing, and goes on to have the WNBA career that she does, to the point when the WNBA has this explosive year and she is still thought of as kind of the standard bearer, or the holder of the torch, if you will, the one who can bestow the basically say this is, we're good, this is worthy. And then the competitiveness that is always cited. People always point out how competitive Taurasi is and was. And when I'm thinking of the great guards in WNBA history, I mean, Taurasi and Sue Bird come to mind. Obviously, those two have a relationship, and it's those are the players that I grew up with and came of age with before the WNBA came into what it is today. And I think what it is today, when we do that, like I talk a lot about the explosive growth and what's, the cause of that. And it's all obvious and everything. But if you do want to say, like, who laid the blueprint, who laid the foundation, who did make it possible, Diana Taurasi might be the first name I think of on that list. There are others, don't get me wrong, Candace Parker, of course, and so many others that paved the way. I don't want to get into I'm not mentioning this person, or I am mentioning this person, but I'm mentioning Taurasi specifically, obviously, given the timing. And there's no other way to say it other than salute. And congratulations on the career that she had. It is one that will never be forgotten and is uniquely her own.